So today we're going to talk about On His Blindness by John Milton. John Milton was basically an English poet and an intellectual who served as a civil servant for Commonwealth of England. He wrote poems at a time of religious influx and political upheaval, and he's famous for his epic poem Paradise Lost. He has written poems in blank verse, and he has introduced new vocabulary words from Latin and ancient Greek. On His Blindness is written in sonnet form, which is a Petrarchan sonnet. Petrarchan sonnet is basically written by or formed by an Italian poet, Petrarch, and the poem is divided into two stanzas. One is of 8 lines and the other is of 6 lines. 8 line is known as the octave and the 6 line stanza is known as sestet. And it has an iambic pentameter. By iambic pentameter we mean there is a proper rhyming scheme in which their unstressed syllable is followed by a stressed syllable. So in On His Blindness, we'll start with the first stanza. The first stanza states, "When I consider how my light is spent, or half my days in this dark world wide, and that one talent which is death to hide, lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent." This first 4 lines talks about this poem was basically written when John Milton became blind. And it was a very difficult moment for him. When he was 44 years old, he became blind, and this poem is written in 1655. And it talks about his autobiographical personal experience of his blindness. That he thinks that how his time was spent when he had the eyesight, and now that he is in this dark world, and he has this talent, and his talent is of writing, which is very difficult for him to hide from the world, as he wants to write more and more. So it is lodged with him useless. By lodged we mean it is buried or it is staying with him useless, because as he is blind he cannot write. So when he cannot write, so his talent is becoming useless, and his soul is more bent. His soul does not have the power to express himself to the world in the form of his writing. Over here in this stanza where it says lodged with me useless, it has a biblical allusion. By allusion we mean that it is a historical reference which talks about the parable of talents, that the king has assigned 3 of his servants that you're going to benefit me from your talents, but the 3rd servant, he cannot benefit his lord by his talent, so he is deemed useless and he is banished from his job, and he is banished for his life from that area. So over here John Milton also imagines himself as he might be banished by God because he is unable to express himself, or he is unable to serve him with the talent that God has given him. So it is basically hovering over him as a heavy load, a huge weight and huge load, because he cannot express himself with the talent that he has been bestowed with. To serve therewith my Maker and present my true account, lest he returning chide. Doth God exact their labor, light denied? I fondly ask, but patience to prevent. Over here, he's talking about that God, that do I have to, like, if I want to present my true account to the God, so if I'm not using or utilizing the talent that God has given me, so he might be scolding me, or he might taunt me that I have wasted the talent that God has bestowed him with. But then he firstly asks himself, this is his inner voice, or it is a voice that haunts him due to his lack of expression in the form of his talent, that does God exact their labor like denying? That will God ask him for his labor, for his work, when he has already denied him with the eyesight? So that is actually something contradictory, that if there is he's lamenting basically that he does not have eyesight, he is lacking that capability. So God will not be asking him of the same level as the one who has eyesight and who is utilizing his capabilities. Then he says that patience to prevent. Over here there's another biblical illusion, that patience is used as a voice of reason, as an inner voice. Over here it is personified as well. The quality of patience is personified, and it has been presented as a character which is responding to the poet in the form of his inner voice. But patience to prevent. So patience is actually now going to respond to his haunting and foolish thoughts. That murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts. Who best bear his mild yoke, they serve him best. His state is kingly, thousands at his bidding speed. And post over land and ocean without rest, they also serve who only stand and wait. Over here, the patience is responding to the poet in the form of a character, and is guiding him that God does not need a man's work. He does not need something that has already been given to the human being as a gift. He judges an individual or a human being on the basis of their intentions, not on the basis of their actions. Intentions are the ones that comes first and foremost. So it is he who is patient with what he is getting, and he who is happy with whatever is bestowed upon him by God, that is the person who serves him the best. That is the person who is most liked by God. So the one who is content with whatever is given by God to him, it is also a test of the poet that he is having the talent of writing, but he is blind. So God is testing him in the form of his patience, that I have given you a talent, but then I have given you deformity as well. I have given you one ability, but I have taken another from you. So he wants to test that how his humans work in such a situation. Are they patient or are they not? Or how they think of God in that state as well. Then in the last few lines, the poet is talking that his state is kingly, thousands at his bidding speed. So God does not need any individual's work or hard work. God has thousands of angels at his one sign or at his one signal. They are there to serve him. And post over land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. So God does not need a human being's talent, or God does not need the worship of a human being. It is the human being who needs to worship God. Why? Because it benefits the human being himself. God does not need any of our worships. It is only for our own sake that we should worship him. In the last two verses, the poet says, and post over land and ocean without rest. There are some angels who are continuously traveling in a very high speed over the land and ocean and carrying out the orders of God. and there are some who are standing and waiting. So those who are standing are also valuable, and they are also of the same category and of the same importance as those who are carrying out the orders of God through the land and oceans. That's all for today.